A few years ago, the City Council of Monza, Italy, barred Petronas from keeping goldfish in curved goldfish bowls. The measure's sponsor explained the measure in part by saying that it is cruel to keep a fish in a bowl with curved sides because gazing out the fish would have a distorted view of reality. But how do we know we have the true, undistorted picture of reality? Might not we ourselves also be inside some big goldfish bowl, have our vision distorted by an enormous lens? The goldfish's picture of reality is different from ours, but can we be sure it is less real? The goldfish view is not the same as our own, but goldfish could still formulate scientific laws governing the motion of the objects they observe inside the bowl. For example, due to the distortion, a freely moving object that we would observe to move is in a straight line would be observed by goldfish to move along a curved path. Nevertheless, the goldfish would formulate scientific laws from their distorted frame of reference that would always hold true and that would enable them to make predictions about the future motions of objects outside the bowl. Their laws would be more complicated than the laws in our frame, but simplicity is a matter of taste. If a goldfish formulated such a theory, we would have to admit the goldfish's view as a valid picture of reality. A famous example of different pictures of reality is the model introduced around AD 150 by Ptolemy c. 85 to c. 165 to describe the motion of celestial bodies. Ptolemy published his work in a 13-book treatise usually known as the Arabic title under its Arabic title Almagest. The Almagest begins by explaining reasons for thinking that the earth is spherical, motionless, positioned as the center of universe and negligibly small in comparison to the distance of the heavens. Despite Aristarchus' heliocentric model, these beliefs have been held by most educated Greeks, at least since the time of Aristotle, who believed for mystic reasons that the earth should be at the center of the universe. In Ptolemy's model, the earth stood still at the center and the planets and the stars moved around it in complicated orbits involving epicycles like wheels on wheels. This model seemed natural because we don't feel the earth under our feet moving except in earthquakes or moments of passion. Later, European learning was based on the Greek sources that had been passed down, so that the ideas of Aristotle and Ptolemy became the basis for much of Western thought. Ptolemy's model of the cosmos was adopted by the Catholic Church and held as official doctrine for 1400 years. It was not until 1543 that an alternative model was put forward by Copernicus in his book De Revolutionibus Orbium Coelestium on the revolutions of the celestial spheres, published only in the year of his death. Though he had worked in this theory for several decades, Copernicus, like Aristarchus, some 17 centuries earlier, described a world in which the sun was at rest and the planets revolved round it in circular orbits. Though the idea wasn't new, its revival was met with passionate resistance. The Copernican model was held to contradict the Bible, which was interpreted as saying that the planets moved round the earth. even though the Bible was never clearly stated that. In fact, at a time the Bible was written, people believed the earth was flat. Copernican model led to a furious debate as to whether the earth was at rest, culminating in Galileo's trial for heresy in 1633 for advocating the Copernican model and for thinking that one may hold and defend as probable as opinion after it had been declared and defined contrary to the Holy Scripture. He was found guilty, confined to house arrest for the rest of his life, and forced to recant. He is said to have muttered under his breath, "A poor sea move, but still it moves." In 1992, the Roman Catholic Church finally acknowledged it had been wrong to condemn Galileo. So, which is real? The Ptolemaic or Copernican system? Although it is not uncommon for people to say that Copernican